Maureen Langan in for Pat Thurston on this Sunday afternoon. I usually host 10 o'clock at night, Hanging with Langan, but I'm happy to be here in the afternoon. I'm so excited. My next guest, she's an international business consultant, worked for years in business, designing and building successful businesses. She's mentored and guided women leaders from around the world to take their businesses and their lives, because both are entwined, symbiotic, to great levels. She not only helps women around the world, but locally, because she is based in London and in Marin. So we are happy to have her today. She is the founder of the company, The Essential Feminine, and author of the book, Awakening the Essential Feminine. No, we are not talking about our periods. We have some serious stuff, because sometimes you say feminine and everybody goes nuts. Yeah. Welcome, Maureen Simon.
Thank you, Maureen. It's delightful to be here.
You have a beautiful name.
And I love yours.
Of course you do.
But emailing you always feel like you're emailing yourself.
It's weird, right?
Yeah,
I
very
know.
different.
I know. Okay, so, your book and your company, we've talked about this before. I have had the pleasure of meeting you before. That you want to help transform both the lives and the businesses of women, the work they do. It sounds good, but how do you do that?
Women are entirely integrated beings, and that might sound a little bit out there, but what we have going for us is that we're highly intuitive. We have the ability to think on our feet. We are now opening doors all over the world in terms of reaching very high levels of leadership. And what we have is the opportunity to create success from ways that we haven't done before, because we haven't had these opportunities. But we also have the ability to create meaning in our lives. And if we don't do both, we fall apart.
Okay, so you hear this a lot. You hear from the Oprah, you have to have meaning in your life. Find your mothership internally, all this stuff. So what do you because these are words and they're catchphrases, but what is it that you specifically do? Like, who comes to you and how do you help them?
The women that come to me are women that usually have some success under their belt. They've done something or they're about to do something that they know they're going to make a difference with. They want to have an impact in the world, and yet they want to live lives where they're not dying. I mean, we were talking to Ariane Huffington the other day, or a little while ago, and she said, I was at my desk, and I fell off my desk and hit my head on the floor and bled, because I worked so hard.
Ariana Huffington?
Yeah, that's the beginning of her book, Thrive, as well. And I think what we do is we've tried to create this massive arrival in the world in business, and there's a lot of sensitivity in women. There's a lot of creativity in women. There's a lot of power in women. But if we leave everything at the bedside when we wake up in the morning and show up, we don't have much to offer. So what I try to do with women, and I'll give you some examples of clients, is I try to integrate who they are from their soul, and this is not way out there. This is like people who are alive, who have meaning in their lives, who have something they want to give, who have something they value.
Like what jazzes them, what their passions are.
Making some success out there, because I'm now seeing the numbers shift from some catalyst studies and other studies that women are basically bringing in greater return on investment within corporations. I guess it's like a 37% higher ROI for C-level.
I don't know what an ROI is.
Return on investment for C-level companies. So we're seeing women, when we show up, make a big difference. But what we don't want to do is burn ourselves out and kill ourselves in the process, like Ariana was saying.
Right.
So there's a way to do this, and this is what I've been looking at recently, because having written the book was great, because I looked at the attributes of the feminine. What are the attributes of the feminine? We can get into that in a minute. I've really taken 28 of them.
I know. I've read your whole book, and I highlighted many things.
I'm sorry.
I read the entire. Of course, I did.
That's brilliant.
I'm really prepared. Of course.
Yeah, it's so nice of you.
Yeah.
And then the thing about it is that there's attributes in there, and the reason I wrote the book is so that we could understand what these attributes are. But then I got further down the road, and I did a lot of consulting with women, and I realized that they have some of these, but some of these don't fit into the existing world that we live in.
Or it's not valued, you mean?
And then they go out and pull the trousers up and kind of fall down the ladder and end up really crushed because they're not showing up authentically in their work. So then I figured out, what do they need to do? And this is the next level of the work.
See, what's interesting, I'm speaking with Maureen Simon. Her book is Awakening the Essential Feminine, and her company is The Essential Feminine. She's located in Marin and in London. She's here with me today in studio. So you're integrating those qualities, because oftentimes you hear people who don't get feminism saying, women are trying to be like men. And you're trying to say, women, bring those female qualities to the forefront. Don't bury them.
Exactly.
Don't leave them, as you said, at the bedside.
Yeah, and on some of those, and some of those that I think are particularly interesting, and I'm just going to take a little look at a couple really, just to put the perspective on, is we have very, very, very powerful gifts in the areas of relationship. in the areas of language and in the areas of thought. And the book has 9 total areas. But just take that for example. So in relationship, we're highly collaborative. Okay, picture a company, highly collaborative. We're inclusive. We are interested in interconnectedness. We want to make sure, just even you bringing me in, sit down. Are you okay? We have this
very nice person.
She's lovely. And we value communication. And
we do. That's why we're on the radio.
And we have 2 communicators right here.
We like to communicate. We like to talk to people.
Yeah. And we're both from New York.
Yeah, and we're both named Maureen.
And I know it's very, very interesting. But anyway, and we also have a great deal of care and compassion and empathy within relationships. So we as women lead on that. And I mean, the research I did for the book included Tannen and Brizzledine and some of the great writers on women. And it was really research. So then we went on and looked at language. Well, we want to connect and cooperate, don't we? So bring this all back into the company. We have emotional expressivity. We know that's true. Women have gotten pounced on that for years. But when you start to ask people how they feel and bring out who they fully are in a work environment, you're going to get more success.
Of course you are. Right? Of course you are. I'm speaking with Maureen Simon. If you have a question, feel free to give us a ring at 8080810, 8080810. I know you work with a lot of women, and I know that this isn't just a women's topic because I think men listening can understand how important what we're talking about is, and integrating that. Because in your book, you talk about having women being powerful, having power out in the world, in their business, in their lives, but not power that's I'm at the top and it trickles down to everybody else, but power that brings everybody into the foray. There was a woman named Gail Evans. She's written a lot of books about women in the workplace, and she always said when she was one of the early founders of CNN,
yeah.
And she said, she was very concerned and wanting her colleagues, men and women, you have children, bring them to work. Let's figure this out. Okay, you have to work from home that day. Let's do something that's collaborative that works for all of us so we're bringing our best to the table.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
Yeah. And I think that's early days. I mean, I think even when we look at the attributes, there's so many amazing groups of women out there. When we started this about 8 years ago, it was research, and it was putting all these things together. Now I'm looking around and I'm seeing phenomenal groups of women doing phenomenal groups of educating women, like we did online. We had about 40,000 women go through our courses.
Well, you do seminars, you do courses.
Yeah, we've done a lot, but what I think is we're at a different phase. I think that what's happening now is that a lot of this is not like, oh, this is new, let's think about it. I think what's happened is that women are waking up and they're getting their power. They're understanding. It's not just power. It's power with as opposed to power over. It's just knowing who we are as women and expressing who we are in the world, earning well, and having a good life.
Well, I want to talk to you. Stay with me, Maureen, because I want to talk. You should also know that Maureen worked on a mediator in Northern Ireland with some of the issues.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. So you've been around. You've done some really substantial work. I want to know ahead, who are the women that come to you, and how do you help them? Let's get some specifics, because people listening, you've mentioned in your book that if women get in touch with what they can do best, that can really have a global ripple effect on a huge level. So stay with me. If you have a question for Maureen, feel free to weigh in at 8080810, and we'll have more just ahead.